Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the start of the second season of the Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. With me, as always, is the biggest dick in sports,
Won't work.
Dan the Dick Warner, who apparently
There
can't
it
get
goes.
to work.
There it goes.
Pussy. All right, so before we dive too deep into this, let's go ahead and get this part out of the way. This is an After Dark show. We say fuck a lot. We get down and dirty. We talk about the human side of sports, the real issues. This isn't going to be your basic over fluffy ESPN or CBS sports type thing. We talk about stuff in the way it relates, human issues and the way it relates to sports, mental health and stuff of that nature. Really quick, sad note about today, WWE wrestler, WCW legend Scott Hall wrestled under the name Razor Ramon, passed away today. Kevin Nash reported that he was on later on in the day. It was reported that his family had been in place. Life support had been terminated and he did pass away.
Wow.
Thoughts and prayers definitely out to Scott Hall's family and friends, and all his fans as well. It's a hard loss, man. He was a very talented performer.
Do you remember that move he did? He'd take a toothpick out of his mouth, flick it on. That's classic, man. He was one of the guys growing up, bro.
Yeah, and that's for me as well. When I was a kid, man, he was one of those first. He played a heel so perfectly, and there's a quote that clip that's been going around from his Hall of Fame speech, and he said something that I will never forget, and I think it's amazing. Bad times will pass, but bad guys live forever.
Yeah. Yes.
And
yes.
I think that perfectly exemplifies Scott Hall. He was truly away from wrestling a great dude. Did a lot of charity work, mentored a lot of people that came up at that point. But he also performed very well.
He got sober somewhere in the middle of there, didn't he? Wasn't there
he did.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, no.
He was,
and what a fucking good looking guy for real. Like,
seriously.
He was carved out of Gibraltar. God,
that dude had more muscle on his chest than I have in my entire body.
Well, and it was
ridiculous.
It was like just the tasteful curly chest hairs too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't like too much. Very rugged. He was a rugged man.
It was definitely, you could feel, because like his persona, Razor Ramon, like there was obviously some Spanish influence, but it was almost more of like the Spaniard Spanish than the Mexican Spanish. That's how it kind of felt to me.
It was straight like heel machismo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I loved it
in the best possible way, especially for the time frame. Like, and I mean, obviously, he had to get clean because there was some cocaine issues, but a lot of those guys had that problem. Honestly, in an addiction, it's a real mental health disease. If you're struggling with addiction, please take care of it. There's not a weakness in that. The smartest thing you can do is get clean. Any addiction. And keep in mind, there are addictions to things that are not just drugs. Addiction can come in many forms, and there are a lot of people that struggle with addiction that when they get clean, they replace it with something else. So that's why the mental health aspect of recovery is so important. We mentioned real briefly earlier tonight on the Sports Report, Max Crosby signed a 2-year extension on his deal the other year. As for $44 million or something like that, he got added onto his deal on the 2-year anniversary, March 11th of when he got sober. That's a great thing to be proud of.
Tony, think about that. Get sober and football becomes easier.
Exactly.
Imagine that. Yeah, gets better at football. Unbelievable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just weigh those things out. Just weigh it out, Like, he just immediately got better at his living. Just immediately got tenfold better at his living. You can tell.
Especially, because if you look at his results over the last 2 years, he earned that extension in every possible way. And so for him, I'm definitely, I'm proud of his achievements, even though he's a Raider. He's definitely one of those players that's not on my team that I would not be frustrated or disappointed to get a jersey of. You know what I mean? Right. Like if I had him, I wouldn't feel bad about having a Max Crosby jersey. I'm not displaying it. I'm not worried. Yeah, 2 X's.
2 X's.
I'm not displaying it. I'm not wearing it everywhere.
Ooh,
but I would love to have it.
Boy, do I feel like a dick. I started this show with smoking a little weed. All right. Well, hey, that's not a drug though. I'm just kidding. We're not even going to get into that right now.
No,
but you guys get the fucking point, okay?
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
and that's tradition. We started every show last season with smoking weed, so he's got it right there. We don't have to do it in front of you guys. We don't owe you fucking shit. All right, audience. We don't fucking owe you anything. I'm just, good God. What are we doing? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
God damn it. Okay. All right. What the fuck? Okay. So one of the bigger pieces of news that has come out here recently that we'll go ahead and dive right into, because we talked extensively about this last season in the Deshaun Watson case. It was revealed on Friday after the information about the case was put in front of a grand jury that Deshaun Watson would not face any criminal charges across all of the accusations of sexual assault that he is still currently facing in civil court. Since then, a few teams have kicked the tires. Ultimately, the two teams that seem to be most dramatically interested right now in Deshaun Watson are the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. So before we dive into the deeper issues in this, we'll get the light stuff out of the way first. I think he's going to end up in New Orleans. I think that's where he's going.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can guarantee one thing. He is not staying in Houston.
No, absolutely not.
That city probably smells to him like quite literally just seriously. It probably just isn't a good place for him to even be. How long do you think it's been since he's actually been back in Houston? Do you think he's actually been there? He probably stays in like South Carolina. He's from South Carolina, right? I believe.
That sounds right. Yeah. So I would say you're probably correct in the assumption that he has not been staying there. Like, he has stayed in communication with the team like he's supposed to. But outside of that, yeah, I would be shocked for him to still be in Houston at this point. Like, he's living, South Carolina in the middle of nowhere. Obviously, he's got the money to buy a private ranch, put a fence around 150 acres and build a house in the middle of it so nobody can get to him. And obviously, all people, in the justice system, all people are assumed innocent until proven guilty. But the court of public opinion is completely different. And that's really going to be kind of where we start with the talk on this. Because, this dude, he can't go out in public like a normal person.
Not anymore.
Aside from the fact that he's a professional athlete, he has been accused of sexual assault by 22 plus women.
To about half of the population, Tony, and correct me if I'm wrong on this estimate, to about half the population, he's a rapist, right?
It
not my opinion, what I'm saying, but like personally.
And that's the thing is, and obviously we have to start with, the fact that a grand jury did not charge him does not mean that he is innocent. It simply means that there was not enough evidence to charge him. He is still facing the civil suits. He can still get civil penalties for any alleged actions. And I am a victim of sexual assault myself. I think, 22 plus accusations of something happened.
Yep.
That's something happened somewhere. Now, of course, because of the way that things work when it comes to dealing with celebrities, there's probably a lot of things that were in place to where there wasn't evidence to prove what happened.
Also,
but, go ahead.
Sorry, let's be fair to Deshaun Watson 50-50 and say that nothing was proven on the other side as well. So exactly. We cannot sit here and say that either side was correct in this. We don't know. We will probably never know. I hope that we do figure out at some point. I hope that somebody writes a book about this, honestly, because there's a lot of things at work here. There are large amounts of money, guys. And when I say Absolutely. Large amounts of money, I don't just mean $265 million like Deshaun Watson got paid. I mean large amounts of money in ticket sales and merchandise and things for the Houston Texans that they were at risk because they were mismanaging their system.
Yep.
If you're a manager at a restaurant and you just start fucking things off and making the wrong food for everybody, your employees will rebel against you and they'll try and quit, or they will quit. And that's what happened. That's what happened here originally. And then these things came out, and that's all I'll say about it. But I'm not going either way because I have no idea.
And that's the thing, is I have no idea as well. And I say, and I say this as a legitimate person that wants any victim's side to be heard. I truly believe that. Like I've said, I was a victim myself. I understand that. But there are also, when you look at this from an objective thing, which we are supposed to do as a public, because we have to remember, because the just and right way is that both sides get to tell their story.
Yes.
Both sides. And then you can decide for yourself. The legal system can be in play depending on the issue. But there are a lot of things, there are things about this situation that make it questionable as to the accuracy of some of the information.
But yes.
And also, the legal precedent is beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes.
The information here does not give me beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't say, oh, just because it's 22. No. Because are we going to, okay, all right, so let's break it down for each individual count. Each individual accusation. What's what happened? Each victim deserves the ability to tell their story. I would love to see books come out about this. Even if there's no names. What happened? What evidence was there on both sides of this?
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you have this many accusations and a lack of an indictment on any of them, you also have to look at what things did Deshaun have that proved that he was innocent. Remember, when it comes to a grand jury reviewing information, there is no defense attorney in the room. This is a group of people and a prosecuting attorney group that show them the evidence available in the situation, and then those individuals as a group discuss it and dictate whether or not they can be charged. And so all of these things say that there was not enough to charge. And there are skeptical things, including the timing, including a few of these individuals where the stories have changed. And so do I find it hard? Would I be shocked to find out that some of these stories are true? Absolutely not. But the sheer volume is shocking. But at the other side, how would one person have 22 plus individuals that they allegedly sexually assaulted, and they are a celebrity, and we are just hearing about this a year and a half ago?
Right.
How does it take that long? And so there are questions that I have about that case, and I want both sides to share, but I can't say either way. I have too many questions.
Tone, I completely agree. I mean, we're going to agree 100% on this. I do want to tell anybody who's listening, me and Tony have extensively researched this subject, not to the point of what these lawyers and things know, obviously, but because we're very interested in this subject. It's more of a human issue than it is a sports issue.
Right.
And because it is a celebrity, obviously that's the thing. I will say this. I know a lot of people who are so conspiracy side on this because of the timing.
Right.
I'll tell you two things to anybody who out there who's a straight conspiracy theorist is going to stranglehold that belief. I'll tell you this. Do you know the scale of fucking fuckery that the Houston Texans owners and management would have had to do to orchestrate 22 women to write individual reports on a human being doing the same thing repeatedly over and over again, and have all these millions of dollars flowing through all of these lawyers and all of this legal precedent? Do you understand the amount of ruse that would take? Okay, that's some Wizard of Oz shit behind the curtain stuff, right?
Exactly.
Probably, it's a bit unbelievable. I think, honestly, what happened, in my opinion, is that I think that these things were happening. I think that the Houston Texans knew about them, and they were actually smart businessmen and kept it right tucked, just right there. Like like that Sunday guy in like a Norman Rockwell painting with the paper tucked right underneath there.
Right there, yeah.
And he's got this hat on, this exact hat right here with like his suit, and he's going to work like with his 50s wife, and she's got an apron on for some fucking reason in every goddamn picture.
Out in public for no reason.
Yes, the Houston Texans were just that guy. Like, yeah, they have an awesome like rain fucking an umbrella. They have like an umbrella for some reason because guys, in khakis like to jog to their office work. Okay, that's what they did. That's what they did. They just put it right up there underneath their sleeve, and they just went, hey, Deshaun, whenever you want to read the paper, you can read the paper, buddy. And he wanted to read the motherfucking paper. He wanted to leave. That's what he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave him. He wanted to leave him behind. And they were hurt. And they pulled that fucking 50s white guy, fedora wearing, walking to work motherfucker. They pulled that right from underneath their arm, and they were like, all right, we can play like that. And also, hey, our paper actually has extra pages you don't know about. We're gonna pay people to say shit at this point because you have enough. And they probably justified it by going, if this is happening, that guy's a piece of shit. And I'm going to go ahead and agree with the Houston Texans. If he is in any way just going, yeah, massage, sweet. And then he pulls his dick out in the middle of it and it's like, hey, jerk me off because I'm a professional athlete. And he in any way pressures these women into doing that when they are professionals, fuck him and fuck everything that he knows. Honestly.
Exactly. Absolutely. And here's the thing. One of the reasons why this issue is personal to me is my wife, Amber, is a massage therapist. She went to school, worked at a spa, worked at, and worked in therapeutic massage. Okay.
She hasn't dealt with
my wife has worked on an NFL player. Okay. An NFL player that I happen to be very fond of that plays for my Kansas City Chiefs. Tyreek Hill's rookie year, he was down in Wichita staying with some people and went in and got a massage from Amber. Which very cool. I have a lot of respect for Tyreek Hill. He's dealt with some bullshit. I know we've talked about him extensively as well.
God.
But she managed to go through the entire massage without him trying to force her into any sexual activity.
Wow.
I mean,
a professional.
Like a professional. It's
like he was actually getting a massage.
Yeah. And so there is no belief. And like my wife works as a coordinator at a spa right now here in Arizona because of the fact that spring training is here. There are athletes in there every day. I got 4 fucking text messages today. The baseball players, their wives are going in there because it's a therapeutic place. They also have you can get like facials, body wrap, stuff like that. So that happens on a daily basis at my wife's work. Professional athletes go in there. NBA players never has a problem.
Yep.
They are actually, the spa that she works at is actually the only 5-star rated spa in Scottsdale, which that's one of the richest areas in Phoenix. Okay. They do their shit right. So for somebody to treat massage therapists like that, even in thought, really pisses me off because that's my wife, y'all. And
it's somebody's wife too.
It's somebody's wife, somebody's daughter.
Some of those women were married.
Yeah. There's massage therapists that do it for 30, 40 years. My wife's worked with a few therapists that were elderly ladies. That's somebody's grandma, y'all. So there is absolutely no way that you could ever treat a massage therapist like that and it'd be okay. So if it even happened once, it's unacceptable. He's a piece of shit.
Yep.
And he can go fuck himself. But we have to be objective. And because these are this is somebody's life, not just these women, but Deshaun is still a person. He may be a piece of shit, but he's still a person. He has rights. And and when you stop advocating for the rights of one person, you stop advocating for the rights of everybody at some point.
We don't get to pick and choose.
You don't get to pick and choose. Rights are rights. That's the end of it.
It's one of the only things in our society that is black and white, Tony.
It's one
of the only things that is.
And right? So we
just
have
that
to,
particular issue.
No, you're right. You're
not
exactly
the law.
Right.
Not the law in general. That's great as shit. I'm saying like just this particular issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's and so what you're left with is, we have these organizations like, the two organizations that have been looking at this so strongly as far as trading for Deshaun Watson, the Panthers and the Saints. These teams have had to really sit down and look at the public blowback that the organization is going to get. Now, of course, both of these teams are in prime desperation for a quarterback. And Deshaun Watson on the field scores touchdowns, sells tickets, makes money.
Top 10 NFL quarterback.
Top 10 NFL quarterback.
Top third. That
so
gets you in the playoffs.
Deshaun, and that's the thing, is either one of those teams, Deshaun Watson on your roster gets you to the playoffs. Plain and simple. And so you have to decide, are you trying to win now? And are you going to accept the negative social media backlash, all of the jokes, all of the hate, the protesting? You're going to have season ticket holders cancel their season tickets and protest. It's going to happen. Yep. Whoever ends up with Deshaun Watson is going to see that happen. And so what you have to consider is all of that going to be worth what he can produce on the field? And in those two markets, they're saying yes.
Yep.
I mean,
they feel like it is worth it to them long term to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that really shows you a lot about the state of professional sports, for one. Okay. That's how many things are at work here. Yeah. And when we're talking about gray area and black and white, I want to separate this real quick. There's only a few things that we know about this case, correct? Like all these cases.
Right.
At some point, Deshaun Watson insinuated or full on, we don't know where that's a lot of gray area there. Did he insinuate? Did he just pull his dick out? Did he tell him to do it? Did he force him to do it? That's all gray area. We really don't know if that's he said, she said type shit, but we do know that at some point, Deshaun Watson, during a professional massage, it is therapy, folks. I know that massages are fucking sexualized. I understand that. To Deshaun Watson, they were especially sexualized, for sure, because this dude at some point would pull his dick out or suggest that this woman either suck on it or give him a hand job, correct?
Right, or full-on sexual intercourse was alleged in some of these cases as well.
Tony, we've talked about this. What type of human being is okay with doing that and not like even if that's your sexual fantasy, like you make reparations to fulfill your you know what I'm saying? Like you pay somebody who you're already pre-agreeing with, like, oh yeah, this is a prostitute. Like you can get a hooker to do that, bro. And I bet they're fucking good at it. I bet they're fucking really good at it. He could have just done that. Instead of using people who are at their fucking job.
And here's the thing. I would, and if this just came out like the Robert Kraft situation, he was paying for sex with with a massage worker that was also a sex worker, and everything was consensual. I don't care. It has literally no effect on me what two consenting adults do, including if money changes hands for those activities. It is none of my fucking business. But when consent goes out the window, your ability for me to keep my nose out of your shit goes out the window too. Plain and simple.
You can't spring consent. We're not springing consent on somebody.
No.
He was springing consent on them, and he was just hoping, because it had worked out for him in the past, I'm sure, and I'm sure it did with some of these women, which makes it even more confusing on the other end. But at the same time, like, he's a professional athlete. He's a good-looking dude. He's rich. He's 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things are so gray area, but we do have black and white, and that is that this dude I mean, he's sexual. Like this is case line sexual harassment assault. It's in this guy obviously has an issue where he feels like he is above some kind of like natural human decency. Does that make sense?
No, and I think that you're right. And I think that your theory on it was allowed to happen previously. He was getting a massage from some sketchy chick that he found on some source like Facebook or whatever. And she was just hot enough while she was doing it that he was turned on, and he propositioned her and she went for it. And that started a trend. You know, when we look at, you know, it almost reminds me of Louis C.K. Now, obviously, Louis C.K.'s allegations were different and nowhere near as dramatic or as big as Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to clarify that. I'm not saying that Louis C.K. is as bad of a guy. He's a pervert, but these are different cases. But the reason that I'm going to draw this comparison is with the allegations that were against Louis C.K., he would pull his dick out and ask chicks if they wanted to watch him masturbate. Okay? And here's the thing. Sarah Silverman said he did that to her, and she was no, and he was just like, okay. At some point, somebody said yes, and that changed the dynamic of what he was doing. Okay,
Tony, I'm so glad you fucking said that for real, because that was kind of my point, was that like you can tell that there's decency in Louis C.K. Like from all the reports, you can tell that it was his thing, and he was probably embarrassed about it. Like, that was how he. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he was embarrassed, and like because he felt for that other person, like he didn't want to have. Like, do you think he chose to like get hard when fucking he just like thought about jerking off in front of? It was just how he was. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how he was wired, and it's not wrong. People have way more fucked up sexual fantasies than that.
Absolutely, and here's the thing, you know, and I will say, while I don't condone any of the things that Louis C.K. is alleged to have done, one of the things to remember is when it comes to individuals like this, there's a progression. And a lot of these individuals, and there was things that were allowed to take place that shouldn't have been allowed to take place. Like that's where this started in both cases. Regardless of the difference, that's what happened in both cases. And then it went too far. Okay? When you get to that level, because when Louis C.K. got outed during Me Too, he was considered one of the top comedians in the industry.
Oh, he was on the top of the game.
He was on the top of 100%. The game.
Just put out, now, oh my God, one of the greatest stand-up specials of all time.
Absolutely. And he was, you know, from a public standpoint, like, yes, he wasn't Dave Chappelle or where Chappelle has gotten now, but he was, for a older white comic, he was at the top of his game.
The epitome of it.
And, you know, when you have somebody that's a chronic masturbator, like, let's just call that what it is. They are not, unless there is something more chemically wrong, the normal person that struggles with that is very embarrassed about it because they know the perception of what they are doing. And so that's what I said. Progression. When you look at Deshaun Watson, you know, if you ever watch Law and Order SVU, you know, or Criminal Minds. Okay.
Right.
While these are both shows, they do use information from actual cases, and they do reference a lot of accurate psychological stuff and law. And so there are good truth pieces in both of these series. And one of the things that you will see as a common factor when it comes to a sexual deviant is there is a progression of, there's a lack of empathy and a progression of behavior. Or in any kind of a serial assaulter, murderer, anything like that, there is a progression. And a lot of these individuals deal with mental health issues. Narcissism is going to be a very common complex as part of these individuals. And one of the things is they're typically better looking, positions of power, and don't hear the word no a lot.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, the wrong person gets propositioned and says no, and then all hell breaks loose. It is that no is actually a progression in and of itself, outside of the ones that came from all the individuals that allowed things to happen or enable it to happen, and whatever was, that no is a progression in and of itself.
Yep.
So, you have these individuals that don't hear it. It's just around them. Everybody around them is always saying yes. You are the reason that they are making money. And so they're going to let you do whatever you want, because when you don't get to do what you want, you start looking at what you're spending and who you're paying to be around you.
Yep.
It's a common.
Keep them.
So, yep.
Keep them all lifted up.
Those yes men, those yes men are an intricate part of that position. Yeah, they're fluffers. And so now when we look at Deshaun Watson, what I would say is probably the truth. And again, this is pure speculation. Again, not indicted. I get all of the bullshit. Some of these women said yes. Let him do what he wanted. I believe
most of them did.
And then came back and changed it later and said that they didn't. And their saying that they didn't give permission is being fostered by the, we'll say 24, probably 6, realistically, a quarter of them, where he actually progressed things and he shouldn't have. And those are the true core of the issue.
Yes.
And again, even once, forcing somebody to do something without consent is not okay.
No.
But there was a progression. And I think that there's truth and lies in all of that situation.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Exactly. Now, the other thing is, there's been a lot of conversations about what the NFL is going to do to Deshaun Watson. And I can tell you that if he gets a suspension, it won't be more than 8 games. But I don't think it's going to be even that. Because since this has been considered administrative leave because of the situation, and the team kept him back, any suspension that they issue, they're going to count that part, any of that, as time served. So the truth of the matter is, once that gets going, he gets traded, he gets to the new team, chances are very slim we actually see any kind of a, outside of any fines that the NFL may issue, it's not going to be anything else. And that's going to piss a lot of people off. And I get it, but that's the way that the NFL has done things so fucking consistently that people need to be prepared for. That's what's going to happen.
Tone, I have a question for you, and I'm gonna start this question with I am a dog guy. Okay, I love dogs. I love dogs. Have 2 of them. I love them. I love them more than I love most humans. Like quite literally more than most humans.
I can vouch for that. Yeah.
But we're gonna give Deshaun Watson less than we gave Michael Vick for dog fighting. I'm throwing it out there because
and you're exactly right.
Come on, dude. Like he's not killing these things. What came out was like, oh, Michael Vick hangs dogs relentlessly by the neck until they die. Get the fuck out of here, dude. He was fighting dogs. I get it, guys. You don't want those dogs to get hurt. I don't either. Okay. But at this point, we're talking about human fucking beings, guys. Those dogs see some shit. Those dogs see some shit and they can still be like, hi, how are you?
Oh.
Like that, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Like these are fucking human beings. This scars people for like a long period of times. This is like emotionally hard to deal with. Obviously, I'm not trying to like mansplain to anybody. I'm saying like this is obviously very difficult shit to deal with emotionally. And we're gonna we're not gonna give him anything for this. We need to reevaluate sometimes, guys. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing as far as like this is probably a little bit more important than Michael Vick fighting dogs in the South, honestly. But at the same time, it's like, why are we doing this thing to this guy and not this to this guy? Is weird to me.
No, and that's the thing, is that's the whole problem with consistency on these issues. And obviously, as a person, I'm a dog owner myself.
Right.
My service dog is a pit bull.
It's a pit bull.
And the biggest fucking baby in the world. Like, seriously. But
adorable.
No, dogfighting is bad. There's no question. But
don't fight your dog.
I also can't justify Michael Vick serving more, getting a harsher punishment for his actions than the allegations that face Deshaun Watson. I can't justify it in any way, shape, or form. But that's what's going to happen.
Should be for the damage that it actually did, in my opinion, for the damage that it actually did as far as ripples through humanity. Like, honestly, I know that sounds weird, but like through the human people that Deshaun Watson, no pun intended, touched, like the people that he touched, like, it's worse. Like what Deshaun Watson did is worse. Sorry, it is. That's in my opinion. And he's not going to do anything, nothing. And that's why it's okay. That's why, I mean, those guys are up there laughing. A lot of these powerful guys that do this shit laugh. They just laugh. They probably just laugh about it. They're probably like, I'm not going to give him shit. I'm keeping doing it. For real. Like, they're just fucking fuck these people who aren't as powerful and as rich as I am, because my pleasure now outweighs their agony, or my pleasure outweighs their pain. Did I lose Tony, or can he can actually stay still for a long period of time, guys? We saw this in the last episode. He's giving me the straight faced. He's giving me the straight face.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There it is. We got it.
Sorry, internet issue.
Talking about dogfighting, ladies and gentlemen.
But no, like there is not a scenario where I can justify Michael Vick getting more of a punishment than Deshaun Jackson. And, but don't be surprised. It's going to happen.
I feel like that was one of those scenes in the movie, Tony, where like everybody's loud and like people are in a crowd and they're talking about something really serious. And then like right as the person's about to say something really embarrassing, the crowd just like shuts up at the same time. And then you like yell it out loud. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I felt like right there. You just froze. And I was like, oh, he's giving me the straight face. And I was like, it took me a couple of seconds.
Yeah, no, it's just crappy internet. My bad.
It's all right. You're good.
All right. So tell you what we're going to do really quick, especially with the issues going on. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we will be right back.
That's a cool fucking intro. Fucking winter meetings. Tony's staying really still again. Where did you get that intro from? I love that. Are we talking about the winter meetings? That's the wrong one. Fucking Geek Gauntlet doing it up big, dude. That ad was awesome.
Okay, so yeah, first ad was for Winter Meetings. That is a baseball podcast that runs Sunday nights at 9 East. That's hosted by me and my buddy Craig. He actually used to write for MLB Trading Card Magazine, has been a baseball writer for a long time, has a lot of experience and knowledge. And we do a deep dive into all things related every Sunday evening at 9 Eastern. Second ad was for Geek Gauntlet. That runs Saturday evenings at 10 Eastern. That is hosted by Will and Shaw, going into all things geek related. That is actually
He was talking about Geek Gauntlet there, guys. Just so you know, I've already promoted it. That fucking ad was awesome, huh? These guys are doing it big down there. How do I get their ad people? God damn. The only thing I have is a fucking neon sign that's like fake on my TV. That's all I got, guys. This is my whole ad budget. I switched the LeBron James jerseys out for shows, if that matters. I mean, it's a lot of budget going in here. It really is. I mean, a lot of the stuff behind me is just garbage from my garage that I keep around. So those Geek Gauntlet guys, check that show out, huh? See, he put me on single now. This is what we're doing. Anyway. Totally talking about dog fighting earlier, guys, and I apologize to all you dog lovers out there because I am a dog lover. And there he is. I'm a dog lover.
Internet issues, sorry. Okay, yes, I'm a dog lover as well. No,
look at Tony. Look at Tony just right back into it.
Just gotta keep going, man.
I love it. You're doing a great job, buddy. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
This is things that happen. You think Joe Buck did never go through this? Joe Buck's lost a Wi-Fi signal or two.
No, that's not the one I wanted. You know, what did you see? He and Aikman are going to Monday Night Football.
I did. They're going to the dark side. They're going to the dark side. That's the dark side now. Did you notice that? How it switched? It was ESPN was the bright side, and then Fox was the dark side. And now it's like Fox is like everybody likes Fox. I actually like Fox Sports more than I like ESPN at this point. And ABC, ESPN, ABC.
And I'm in the same way. Like when I'm watching sports stuff in the morning, like I'll look after First Take gets done to see if Stephen A said anything that actually matters. But I watch Undisputed and then I watch The Herd.
Yeah, parody,
because Joy Taylor. Oh my God, she is an underrated smoke show in sports. Seriously, that's a beautiful woman.
Absolutely. Ooh. Best part about that whole thing is great analyst.
Oh yeah. She's a great follow on Twitter. Like if you're one of those that's on Twitter, like she's a great follow because she has a lot of amazing takes and I have a lot of respect for what she does. She is one of the best analysts, not just female analysts.
Yes.
And Mina Kimes is one that's up there as well.
I love
absolutely wasted at ESPN. I think she could be doing so much more.
Absolutely. Mina, jump ship. Come to the fucking Jedi.
Let's get Mina Kimes should join us. You'd make this show infinitely better.
Oh my God, dude. Hey, I already have a letter handwritten. You know me. I already got a letter handwritten. She's gonna hear from me. Mina Kimes is going to hear from me. And you know what? And she'll read it too. That's the thing. She'll probably read it. Like if I'm going to handwrite the whole thing.
She would too. She's that nice of a person. She would probably somebody handwrite something for her. She'd be like, "Oh, this is sweet." She's going to read it. And she's amazing. She seems like such a nice person.
And it wouldn't be misinterpreted because I'm actually putting that much shit into it. I'm like, I really want you to come on our show. Like I'm super fucking excited. Like I'm like a kid right now. Awesome. Yeah, or Joy, whichever one.
And they know, and it frustrates me when people knock them out, saying they don't know much about sports because they're women. That pisses me off to no end because first off, anybody that's been married will tell you that a woman can analyze everything 1,000 times over in the space that a man can, one time. So and women are pretty good at picking out things that men do wrong. So I think that having more female analysts in professional sports should be just primary first choice. Like,
Tone, these motherfuckers that say that shit, like you said, like, oh, she doesn't know sports. Let's analyze your sports background. you big stud, you. Let's talk about your high school sports career, you big stud, you. Good fucking God. Get the fuck out of here. We watch it the same. We can see it with our eyes. Like, just because they don't like play, they don't have a penis. Like, what? We're the same thing. You guys weren't anything either. You guys might as well have been a girl in high school sports. Like, it's the same thing.
Listen, my favorite part was Jeff Garcia trying to go at Mina Kimes because she was critical of Jimmy G leading into that playoff game. Jeff Garcia, bro, you went 6-10 with Jerry Rice,
bro,
as your receiver,
bro, with your
running out of the back of the end zone safety.
Bro.
Jeff Garcia,
bro,
wants to sit here and talk about Mina Kimes, bro.
Fucking
Tim Tebow has a better shot at getting another quarterback gig than you do. So just chill.
With his bleach blonde, fucking perm. He had like a bleach blonde perm at one time. Good.
I didn't like
Jeff
him
Garcia.
when he was playing for the 49ers. I thought he was a jackass then, and I was a kid.
He's like he's like Red Hot Chili Peppers Baker Mayfield. He's like, yeah, he's grunge Baker Mayfield is what he is.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy. Yeah, he's an idiot.
He is.
He's an idiot. But Joy though, for real, is like a legitimate. And you know what makes it even better is that she does have a female perspective on it. Because how much do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You don't.
She's so reasonable in her takes, and that's one of the things that I like about her. Is there's so many of these analysts that make their fame on hot takes. Joy Taylor doesn't have a lot of hot takes. She just tells you what's going to happen, and she's usually right. She's very factual about what she does, and I genuinely appreciate that.
It's like she's such a like I don't want to say like it's like a widespread voice for what I think actually is the women's take on the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like she's so like sensible about it. And it's like also just it's critical. It's just that whole, it's kind of like a base. It's like the wide variety of opinion. And she's somehow able to get it like into it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's somehow able to like wrangle it all in and get it into like one thing, which is like very difficult to do. Obviously there's a bunch of dudes doing it. So you get every different end of it because there's so many of us. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a dime a dozen, bro. I'm a fucking dime a dozen. Like her doing sports analyzing is rare. And it's like, it's good information. If anybody hasn't listened to her, just like, don't even turn the video on at first. Just listen to her and you'll be like, nah, that's fucking awesome. Like I love listening to it. And then you'll be like, holy shit, that it looks like that. Like, and she's very well dressed, by the way, good style. Cowherd. Tony is sitting still for extended periods of time again. He's just trying to freak me out at this point, guys. Every time too, just mentioning, he just drops out in the worst parts of the conversation, like the worst parts for somebody just to be sitting here talking into a microphone by themselves. He tends to do it right at that moment. And now you see, I go single screen now. I go single screen. I should have prepared this. I should have had my sheet out and had my little subjects I go through, and you guys wouldn't want to listen to just me talk though. That's not probably that entertaining. It would get really old really fast. I'd be making a lot of jokes to myself. Tony knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It'd be a lot of just jokes that nobody else would get. I'd be like, is he making jokes to himself right now? I'd be like, yeah, he's going mad. I'd probably just go insane, honestly.
You legitimately have so many internal inside jokes that nobody understands. That just like, there are times where it's hard to have a conversation with you because you're just like, you're like a white, poor Nebraska prince. Like you're in your own little world. It's a Prince world.
Absolutely.
It's the Dick's world. That's where you live.
Absolutely. I live, and you know what, guys? Not intentionally. I don't want to live here. Do you know what I'm saying? Like in here, I don't want to live there. I just do. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so I can't, I don't apologize for it because I just do. It's not really a thing that, yeah, I like the Prince thing. That's actually a real, like, I have no right. Like I just walk, I just walk around with like this scumbag sense of entitlement that nobody ever gave me. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody ever like gave me that, and I just like gave it to myself. I was like, yeah, totally. That's right. And like that's just
Well,
how
I mean,
the story is going at this point.
You're an average height white male, so that's actually kind of par for the course if you think about it.
Oh God, yeah.
You know?
There's
honestly,
there's people say there's nothing worse than being average, but apparently to me, it's like the greatest thing ever. Just be mediocre. Like, good God. Hey, I did buy that neon sign though for the show, so everybody just appreciate that neon sign for the show.
I talked about neon sign.
Talked about the stuff the promo cash we've been spending. We're not Geek Gauntlet style yet, but we should get their promo people. We should get Geek Gauntlet's promo people.
I'll see if I can put in a call.
Yes. Get somebody at this fucking network to do something. Goddamn.
It's
a nightmare out here, Tone. It's a fucking
run by assholes, I'll tell you.
Run by a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Board member. Look at him. He's right there.
Know what you're talking about.
Board member.
No idea what you're talking about.
Right there next to me. Unbelievable. You're like the MLB owners at this point. I'm like Carlos Correa, and you're like the MLB owners. I'm just down here wanting to play ball, baby.
You're like if Carlos Correa was did crack and thought that microdosing was a personality choice.
I'm doing work, son. You know what I am doing? I'm fucking paying my internet. I'm paying my internet bill. I'll tell you that much. I
pay my internet bill. I don't know what I'm paying for at this point, but I'm paying it. God damn it. But okay, all right. So it is time for us to wrap up for the evening as we end the first episode of the second season of Sports Report After Dark. Any final thoughts, buddy?
Man, not really. I think it was a good show, and I think anybody who listened, you guys are good sports. And
get the fuck out of here.
And now you're in this with us. So there's no like, oh, those guys and their tomfoolery. No, you're in this with us now. So
yeah, we've been silently hypnotizing you through the whole thing. You are now going to feel compulsive to join us every week. Idea. You're going to have to join us every week. Each episode, it will be a compulsive. You start with the Sports Report, and then you immediately switch over to After Dark, what we do, and then you're also going to buy stuff on the Amazon wish list that we're going to create, which for Dan is mostly going to be trading cards. And for me is mostly going to be stuff that I can use to smoke cannabis out of. But those things are completely irrelevant. You're still going to buy us everything. But
they're interchangeable.
Absolutely.
Just before anybody buys anything, the weed products are interchangeable. We will both do those. Also, mine is sports cards and memorabilia, especially things signed by Ricky Williams that have a weed quote on them. If Ricky Williams signed something, smoke weed every day, buy it for me. Just fucking buy it and send it to me, and I'll be your best fucking friend. I will literally call you every single day. Trust me, Tony knows what I'm talking about. I'll call you every day, and I will thank you for that Ricky Williams weed memorabilia. This is gonna be the end of the show, isn't it? It's only fitting that this is the end of the show, Tony. Just me sitting here talking to my fucking self. This has been the whole thing anyway. Unbelievable. Hey, stay clean, everybody. Don't do anything the good Lord wouldn't do, and pay your fucking internet bill. All right? Pay your internet bill.